All right, guys, welcome to Beard of Darkness Book Reviews. I have a wonderful guest with me today. I've really been excited about this. He's got a wonderful thing going with FanFiAddict, such an influential website, one that I'm so happy to be a part of. He really treats it like a family. Mr. David Walters, how are you today, brother?
Hey, doing well. How about yourself? Thanks for having me. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
no, absolutely, no problem. Thank you for coming on. Let me borrow you. I know you're a busy man, but yeah, I've had a good day. Just kind of a normal day. Drop the kids off to the babysitter, kind of deal. Um, so yeah, a normal day. Uh, would you tell us the name of your website and what you're about? What is the website about? You know, we all know, but just to get it on the
it.
paper.
Yeah. So, and I know people have asked me this over the years, and look, it's like one of those things where, I was trying to come up with like a really smart name for like a fantasy and science fiction blog, but it's FanFiAddict. I know a lot of people go, "Is it FanFi? Is it?" And I'm like, no, it's definitely not. That makes it sound really sad.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever. It definitely looks like FanFi to me because, of course, anybody that's knows about fantasy or science fiction, it's like
Yeah.
it's definitely FanFi.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
yeah,
you think of science fiction, everybody calls it sci-fi. So I'm like, clearly, I would hope like at least 80% of people figure it out. But
8 out of
yeah,
10.
so the fanfiaddict.com, yeah, I actually started it back in October of 2017 as a little free WordPress site. Thanks, Timothy.
Mhm.
and it was just me. I had branched off of a site called Book Nest, which was actually pretty big in the early 20 teens. I've been on there for about a year. That's actually where Patrick Leo started
Oh
as
wow.
well. So he and I kind of branched off. He started Novel Notions. I started fanfiaddict.com. Or sorry, fanfiaddict.wordpress.com. Let's really take it back. Yeah, just after doing it for 6-8 months, I was like, I'm not really getting any traction. I'd started Twitter, which really sounds weird because like I feel like I've been on Twitter for like 20 years, but I've only been on it since about 2017. And I had started, kind of getting a few followers and meeting people and so forth. And David Schaefer, who's Book Meanderings, if you guys don't know,
Mhm.
he and I kind of connected, and he came on, and then I've actually ended up selling a house to a buddy of mine named Griffin, who also read fantasy books, and so he jumped on, and then people just kind of started piling on every now and then, and then yeah, now we're at like 40 something people, which
Yeah,
not everybody's active, but like that's how many people like are at least listed on the
yeah.
website.
If you guys want to see the list of reviewers, it's simple. You just go to the website, and I believe you just cursor over the reviews button or the about button, I
Yeah, it's the
believe.
about button. Yeah, so they go to about, and there's a reviewers page. It's got everybody listed. It's got all their reviewer pages, so you can see what books they've reviewed. And yeah, the list just keeps growing. Like I was telling you before we got on, Andy Peliquin's going to start writing for us now.
Heck
So,
yes.
so Timothy's comment really rings true. I mean, we're going to take over the indie communities.
It was cool. It was like the week that I was inducted, if you will. There was like 2 or 3. I know Mr. Ganesh up in here too. Woot woot, boss man in the house. He says he's excited. He's always excited. I love that guy. He's always got the best comments. He says also, "Hail HC." He's an HC Newell fan. Wonderful. She's in here. It was really good time. Dev's try to go next year. Oh, sorry. That was about Dragon Con over in
Oh
the
yeah,
chat.
no,
Sorry,
I met
guys.
both of them. Well, I saw HC from a distance, but I got to meet Ganesh, which was pretty awesome. I got to see the man behind the Deadpool mask. So
Yeah, dude. Exactly. I love that too. Because at first I was like, what is he wearing? And now, I clicked the picture. Of course, it's Deadpool.
oh,
Uh,
and bless him, he was carrying it around with him. Like I just knew it was so like Atlanta was really hot during Dragon Con, so I was like, "There's no way he's gonna wear that all day every day." So
I think that's where the pictures that were taken about, from a lot of y'all, it really, honestly, I reached out to a lot of those people
Mhm.
and interviewed them. And, I have a lot coming up as well. Oh, I'm so happy. Ella McCrae's in here. Thank you so much.
Hey,
She says, "Hey guys, looking forward to this chat." Yes, me too. Me too. Thank
that
you
was
for
our
being here.
Smithpo finalist from a couple of years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Um, Tony Johnson finally get to watch live. Oh, usually I'm at 9 o'clock at night. So those in the UK, it's like that's 2 a.m. I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm glad when I get to do a little bit of a bonus interview during the day. So I get the other people from some other countries that get to tune in.
I was trying to make sure I represent for everybody internationally.
Yes. Isn't it
Except for
so
Australians.
cool?
I'm sorry, guys.
No Aussies. No. One wonderful Aussie, by the way, who is also a part of FanFi, Mr. Charlie Cavendish. I'm sure he'll pop in here somewhere, but he is so active. He's always in the chat. If I'm live, he's always on Twitter. He's very inspired by what the indie community has to offer, which is so fun to watch.
Absolutely.
And his reviews are spot on. Like he's doing the in books, if you will. Of course, it's just cool. Like I get a lot of my inspiration when I read other reviewers, like Esme. Like she has such wonderful reviews, and I believe it was John Morrow who introduced us. Another wonderful guy.
Yeah, I'm really jealous of like their ability to just churn and burn. Like it's insane, and not only just like a couple of like sentences or a couple paragraphs. I mean, they like legit write book reviews. It's nuts. I wish I had that time and energy and motivation.
It's something funny I wanted to bring up during our live. I hear you're tall. How tall are you?
6'4". Don't believe Dark Ashton.
What did he say?
No, he for anybody that doesn't know, so Dirk during Dragon Con decided to post a picture of me sitting next to him, and he decided to squat down, so he looked like he was about 4'8".
I saw that.
Yeah, and so it was the running joke. So then I went and took a picture with Ryan Cahill, who's actually just about an inch taller than me. He's not much, but I was like, well, I got to squat next to him. He's got to be massive.
So the reason I ask is because I can spot a tall guy because I'm 6'5" myself, and when I look across Walmart, I'm like, that guy is taller than me, I think, and most of the time I'm right. It's funny because in the whole indie community, there's lots of tall people. We love short people, right? But we're freaks. I'm a freak. I'm too tall. Come on now, 6'5". My knees hurt.
Now there's actually a group of I don't know if they're all traditionally published, but authors that go to BristolCon every year that they're like the tall guys group. It's like David Ragg and I think Ryan and I forget who else, but I think it's like 4 or 5 authors. They're all like egregiously tall.
Yeah. The one that I was most shocked. Now, I don't know if it can't be. I don't know why, but maybe because he's always sitting down when I see him, because like I watch his interviews. But Ryan Cahill, I had no idea he was tall. No, I thought he was short. I don't know why. Really? Preconceived. No,
I think I felt like he was like pretty average, like when I first like met him online. But then meeting him, I was like, okay, he says he's 6'4", and I'm like, dude, I had to look up at you, and I'm 6'4", so there's no way. So maybe it's an Aussie 6'4" or a New Zealand 6'4" or whatever.
He's a humble guy. It seems like he's a very humble guy. And I'm very excited he'll be on the channel. It'll be the 30th for us. It'll be the first for him.
Okay.
I can't wait. It'll be fun. And we'll talk about it with him. But when I started my channel, I said, I had him in mind. I hadn't read his books yet. I'm on number 2 of Darkness and Light right now. But I said one day I'm going to be able to talk to him, and look at that, man. He said something along the lines of, I know you kind of had to chase me around. I'm sorry for that. And it's like, what better way to know somebody really wants to speak with you and will treasure what you have to say than he's obviously busy. The guy's blowing up left and right all the time. He's really somebody I think that a lot of indie authors look up to, and that's for a good reason. And he's, like I said, he's a humble guy. He's a really nice person.
I remember when he still only had 91 followers on Twitter.
That's cool.
When he first published, the first book in A Broken Bound, he was, I hate to say he was a nobody. I mean, nobody really knew him. I saw him post on Facebook. I think he posted like in the Grimdark group. He's like, guys, I've got a book coming out. Here's my cover.
And what do you guys think?
Like, okay, cool. He's got a book about dragons,
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it looks like my camera froze.
It usually does its thing and comes on.
There we go.
There it goes.
And so I started kind of chatting with him, and I feel wholly responsible for his rise to fame. I'm just gonna throw that out there, and I'm sure he'll joke around about it. But I feel like, once like FanFiAddict kind of got a hold of it, and I read it, David Schaefer read it, and like 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 other people on the website read it. Like, and then all of a sudden he had like 2,000 reviews. So it's just it's insane. Like, his rise. But something about like indie authors and dragons, like everybody just like crowds.
Yeah,
so
it's like the big
if you have an indie book and it has dragons in it, like really push it towards the indie community, because they'll read it.
Well, not only that, like, you always go into a book, especially an indie book that's kind of blown up, and you're like, I hope that this is worth the touting that it's been getting.
The hype, yeah.
And it was so fun. Like I said, I haven't read all of his books yet, but I can't wait. My TBR is like so heavy right now. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you obviously.
Do you see my book hauls?
Yeah,
I feel like Stephen King. Like, I feel like I just have a room with just a bunch of stacks of books, and I go in there and like it's like a dart throw, but I just kind of throw myself at my pile and grab something.
Andrew D. Meredith in his house.
What's up, Andrew?
That's my call right there. If I've been doing that lately, I have no idea why. It just, one of those things. I'm sure it sounds just as stupid as I feel. We have, one second. I've seen one of his comments up. Oh, there it is. That is one sexy bookshelf, he says. Legends of the Brave Bard.
Why, thank you. Yeah, man, I wish like I had time to like clean out some and put new stuff up. No, I've got a little book cart, and every now and then like I'll switch some stuff out. But
I got to get a book cart now.
Dude, Target.
Yep. I got to get one now. That's on my list.
It was like $20, $20 or $30. Like, it was pretty cheap.
John A. Douglas too.
Everybody on Instagram like was getting book carts. Like, back when, like, I felt like there was. I mean, everybody's always like going after Stephen King first editions, but I feel like there was like a really big like push for it a couple of years ago, and everybody started getting book carts. So I was like, well, I gotta get one now, and it's got like room to put stickers on it. Like,
oh heck yeah,
it's like real great.
Dude, speaking of stickers, I think I can grab them. Look what my lovely wife made for me. If you guys can see them. Look at those lovely stickers. Heck, I'll send you one. Anybody, I'll send them out. In fact,
I've started like collecting all of my book stickers on one of my monitors for work. So I've got a FanFiAddict and a Wraithmark so far. So
then we'll exchange some, because
everybody send me stickers so I can put them all on my monitor.
There we go. Let me check over here in the chats. I'm sure people are begging to just throw something up here in your face. They've got questions, I'm sure.
I hope not.
Ask away now, right? So I think I was also saying Ryan's first book. Well, actually, I read The Fall first. Very impressed with that, and then I read Bound in the why can't I think
Blood and Fire?
Blood and Fire. My gosh. But I had
look. No one knows this, but I completely butchered the title of his book when I first did my interview with it, and I cut it out of my chat.
Well, see, the thing is, and you know this more than most people, it's like you have all of these authors, and some titles sound kind of like other titles. Not that his does, but in my brain, it's like I have a million different books here, which I'm looking at them. If you guys are ever watching me live and I'm looking up, like, I'm not losing my attention span. I'm looking at my books here, trying to grab and all that. I'm glad you can't see it right now, because it's one heck of a mess, but it's there. Did you build your bookshelf?
No, I actually, so when we first built this house back in 2018, that was the first thing I told my wife I wanted to do, is I wanted to have somebody come in and build built-ins for me. So nice. I am not a DIY at all. Just can't. I mean, like, I can put stuff together with instructions, but like, I'm not like I'm going to go out and cut a bunch of wood and put stuff together. That's not how I roll.
So that I'm somewhat like that. So I was, when I was a little younger, me and my wife actually did that for a while for a living. Like, we would custom build anything out of wood. And of course I had to build my bookshelf. It's really simple. It's just a couple of boards with some nails, really, but it looks all right. And it's fun too. It's kind of gratifying when you're done. And it's like, I could finally I hope the studs will hold up. Because
Right.
Ryan Cahill, I was joking with Mike from Mike's Book Reviews. He put something on Twitter saying he had to reorganize. I said, yeah, I need to build another shelf just for Ryan's books because he thinks that his have to be like, 1,080 pages long each, right?
Yeah, and they're just dense. Like they're just super heavy.
You got to find a stud.
It's not just the page count. Like I mean, even the actual boards are like super thick.
Yeah, I'm so jealous because I don't know that. I have his paperbacks of The Fall and of Blood and Fire, but see, I want that special edition of Blood and Fire from Broken Binding. I will find it one day somehow.
Yeah.
And hopefully maybe they'll restock one day. I don't know, how that goes yet. Like I talk all the time about it. I found fantasy in books when I was 29. I'm 33 next month. So it hasn't been very long, and which is kind of exciting because a lot of the books that I hear so much about, I get to read for the first time.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same with you. I really didn't start reading fantasy till I guess I was 26, and I'm 33 now. So
okay, man, we're like the same age. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. Like I read the popular kids books growing up. I did Harry Potter. I read Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. But when I got towards the end of high school, like my dad got me into reading a lot of Dean Koontz and Stephen King. So I read a little bit of that. And then I got to college and I didn't read it all.
We didn't have time.
It probably took like 3 years after college to like really get back into it. And Wool by Hugh Howey and The Martian by Andy Weir are the two books that like were like, okay, I think I like reading. Like, I still like it. I think I want to get back into it. So that's
the one that did it for me was Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. It's not super well known. It's like a gas, huh?
Isn't that a tour release?
I'm not sure. Gosh,
it sounds familiar.
It's like
a black and white cover, right?
Yes, it is. It's got a crow.
I think his second book comes out next year, if I'm not mistaken.
It does. Yeah. Gosh, it's been such a long wait, man. Like nowadays, you usually get a book too within, I don't know, at least in the indie space, like 6 months or a year.
Yeah.
J.M. Miro, I have sent some emails to your publicist. If you're watching, come on the show, man. We got to talk because you got me into fantasy, my guy. And you're making me wait way too long for book 2. But that's all right. The longer the wait, the more it'll be, fun to dive back into it.
Yeah.
I want to get to John. John's been a regular viewer of mine and me of his content. And he's got a book coming out called The Dark Crown, or The Black Crown, sorry. Soon. I'm doing his website. We're getting things together. We're going to do some fun stuff in the future. So you guys look out for that. Let me look and make sure I haven't missed any questions because I have a reputation for that. Let's say, so Boss Man, if Lightbringer didn't exist, what is your top read so far this year? He must know exactly what your top is then, knowing like that's specific.
Tyranny of Faith by Richard Swan's like really holding its own. Lightbringer's great though. It's a really tough one too. I also really loved Mordu by Alex Feby, I believe is how you say his last name. That one's kind of an unknown. Dan Smith, who used to write for FanFiAddict, he's actually an author as well, which I haven't seen him in a while. I got to see where he's at, but he wrote a review for it. It came out. It's like one of those that came out like in the UK, like didn't really get a whole lot of like US press. But like the audiobook for it is phenomenal.
What is it called?
Mordew. It's Mordew.
Mordew.
Sequel just came out, or it comes out pretty soon. But it's like a real low magic, kind of feels like you're in a Tim Burton film.
Oh wow!
But it's really, really good.
And what was his name?
Alex Feby, Pheby. Yeah.
All right, Alex. I get these. My TBR is growing as we speak.
But yeah, like going back to Tyranny of Faith. Yeah, if you enjoy like The Witcher, like with like a law background,
yeah,
it's exactly how Richard Swan series is. And I don't know if you saw the cover reveal that Patrick did the other day for book 30, but holy cow, like the artwork for those books is just amazing.
So I actually just had Richard on the channel and it was eye-opening because he Well, he likes to talk, and I love that.
Really does.
I loved it. I was, for some reason, I was expecting a really shy person. I don't know why,
Yeah.
and he's not. He's a wonderful
No.
guy too.
I feel like you get that from like social media. Like I feel like he like seems like pretty shy, but like him and David Ragg and like Josiah Bancroft, like I feel like I can just like loop them all like in the same. They all are very, very funny. They all talk a lot. And like I could talk to them for hours.
So Bancroft is somebody I would love to talk to. And Hexologist, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait to read that. That looks so fun. Like it's I feel pretty unique. Premise. It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'll get with Adrian. I'm sure he can give you the hookup. And I mean, I'll talk to Josiah on his Patreon all the time. So I'm sure.
Well, heck yeah, man. Yeah, tell him that the Beard of Darkness is searching for an interview. What inspired you to start the website, man? What was that thing?
Yeah, like I said, kind of branched off from Book Nest. I'd gotten, I guess you could say, recruited to it. Kind of like folks get recruited to FanFiAddict. Petros, who was running it at the time, was like, "Hey, you write some really good reviews. You want to try out this?" And I'm like, "Sure, why not? Sounds good." And I wasn't writing like, I wouldn't like say they were great reviews. I mean, I was like writing a few sentences like, "This book was good. You should read it."
Well, he noticed for a reason though.
Yeah. So, I just kind of got the bug. I was like, this is a way that I can talk about books. I don't have a lot of people around me that read the same stuff I do. Like my dad reads, but he really reads like military sci-fi, and he doesn't read like big epic fantasies. Like I've pushed him to do it, but he just it's not his thing. And of course, my wife doesn't read epic fantasy, so
neither does mine. She's actually reading H.G. Newell's first book right now, though, and she's liking it. I'm so proud because like I have been trying to get that book in her hand that's fantasy, and like for her to like it for such a long time. HC, you've done it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that must feel cool, right? It's like she's converting somebody.
There you go.
Nick Horvath has a wonderful book coming out. I've got the arc. I've been reading it. Sledge versus the Labyrinth. And I'm so excited for you guys to read this. I've probably shouted from my rooftop most from the books that I've read and the new authors that I'm discovering about because it's not a fantasy. It's a punchy, action-filled, can be violent, but for a reason. But his prose is just, it's great. And I'm so excited for you guys to read it. It comes out on Halloween. I'll be doing a video review on my channel, on your website as well the day it comes out. It's going to be fun. So look out for that, guys.
It is our website. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Our website.
Our website.
But everybody knows who does the work behind the scenes. I mean, it's pretty evident.
I try.
You do well. Yes, I agreed. JCM Byrne in here. Appreciate you stopping in, man. One of the very first interviews I did.
He's my boy now. We met at Dragon Con.
I saw that. That must have been so cool. You've got Sadir Samir. You've got gosh, I hope I said his name right.
And Zach Argyle and
I
mean, everybody was there. I mean, I roomed with Nick Martell, so I mean,
that is super cool.
We've been besties for a while, so it was about time we actually met in person.
Besties. So he was actually, JCM Byrne was my first space opera science fiction book really ever, and I've got some building love for sci-fi now. I'm more open to reading those now. I've yet to start Red Rising trilogy. I've bought the first book; it's up here somewhere. But I'm excited. I keep hearing so much wonderful things.
Yeah, and when you finish Red Rising, you've got to read Christopher Rocchio.
I'm so happy you just said his name. So he's somebody on my list to read.
He's awesome. I mean, it's I know a lot of people have a lot of flack for Rothfuss, but everybody always says it's Name of the Wind meets Red Rising. I mean, it's so
wow.
Good. It's really good. His prose is phenomenal. I mean, Pierce Brown's great, but like Rocchio, like just his way with words is just Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And did it take you forever to learn how to pronounce his last name? I'm like Ruaccio, Rao.
You know, the first couple of times, and then he was on Mayday Con, and I had to learn fairly, really
Fairly
quickly
quick.
that's how you pronounce it.
That's funny. Well, it's not an obvious one. My last name is Sorensen, so I get all sorts of renditions. So I feel his pain. It's like I can critique that because I get it every day. It's like
Yeah.
I had somebody call me Silverado one time. It's like there's
Hey,
absolutely no L, there's no
that
V.
needs to be your middle name now.
Yeah, right.
Your new nickname is Silverado.
That's funny. Um, So when did you? You kind of covered a little bit,
Yeah.
but when did you start the site? And what is something that you do differently that you brought to the table that say the other guys didn't?
Yeah, so like I said, October 2017 was the date of the WordPress, and then of course we brought over to using a mod farm site. Has been 2 years now, so back in 2021. Just because like day to day is not bad, like posting content, but like making sure everything's running smoothly and using SEO and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm just like, Rob, you handle that, please.
Oh, that's a learning curve.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I know a little bit, but even though I have a marketing background, but I haven't done marketing since
It's
I
a
got out of
whole
college.
yeah, it's a whole other beast. Like, okay, you can want to start a YouTube channel, you can want to start a website, but you have to put in that legwork for no gain. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do that. It has to be a labor of love, especially
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning and maybe for a little while.
Yeah.
If you want it to eventually be something good. I think that that's really important. And I felt I tell my wife before we come on, I said, I guarantee you he knows what that feels like, doing a lot of promoting and following what you feel is the right thing to do without much to gain from it other than your just love for what you're doing.
Yeah. It was easy to do in the beginning. I really wasn't, and I'm still not. I'm not in for it for the clicks, not really in for it for the views. Now don't get me wrong. I'm going to shout out when we get, X amount of views, because I think that's
That's a
awesome, because it
milestone.
shows people, hey, this is why we do this. This is why you should use us for certain things. I mean, we're going to be hitting 400,000 hits probably by the middle of next week, if I had to
I
go.
was hoping you were going to touch on that. I just saw you post that. I was so happy for you, man. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, we maxed I think 240 last year. So the fact that we've almost doubled that, and we're not even to November yet, which is amazing.
That's incredible. Now tell the people what that means. Does that mean that somebody goes on Google, searches for reviews, and finds your website and clicks it?
Yeah, it's a all sorts of different things. So that means clicks from social media. That means people that are part of our newsletter. That means folks who see a random review on Reddit and come to the site, and then click. If they're not just looking at one review, if they go to the homepage, if they go to look at another review, all those clicks matter.
Wow.
So
That's a lot.
People searching the site can really help that way. But a lot of our traffic's like a one-click thing. Somebody posts a review that sounds interesting to somebody, they click on it. There's your one hit. So
gotcha.
In the grand scheme of things, it's probably like not that many. I mean, it's a big number.
It's a lot, dude.
But just comparative, like you think of like Mike's book reviews. The fact that he's got 100K subs. He's getting thousands and thousands and thousands of views on all of his videos. And if people, have never seen them before and they like one video, they'll probably go back and watch several more. Whereas like on ours, most people are coming for like one tailored post. So listicles, reviews, cover reveals. Now, I've kind of made it on my end now, and I've kind of told everybody else on the site to do it, is with cover reveals, I don't care so much as clicks on the website. So I post the cover on the post. Like I think I'd rather get traction on Twitter than on the website, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
I mean, you're getting 40 to 50,000 hit or views of a cover. Just putting it on Twitter is amazing. You're not going to see that on the website. You'll see 1,500 views for the day, but the fact that it's at least going through people's timelines is just awesome.
Now, like Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, there's the algorithm, the big monotonous man of a boss, the algorithm. Now, is it the same for a website like yours? Is there an algorithm that maybe you said who runs the website?
So Mod Farm is like
Mod Farm.
is our like so Rob runs Mod Farm, and he's the one who built our site and kind of does all the background stuff. He had to make sure everything's updated, make sure things running properly. If things need to be cleared out, he takes care of that. So he doesn't really his job isn't making sure we get seen. That's really on us. So that's why we use SEO. That's trying to make sure we're on top of Google searches, or at least close to the top. So we make sure whatever post that we're doing, we make sure author's name, the title of the book, and then make sure like our website is one of those tags, and in the hopes that it's up at the top. So when people search it on Google, we're one of the first few things that pops up, which it happens sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. Some people are better at SEO than we are. That's just
I think it's one of those things that's constantly changing so rapid. And if you guys look up how like frequently like Facebook or Twitter changes their algorithm, it's probably impossible for the average Joe to keep up on that, because what is it, trial and error a million different times, or talking with the right people.
I don't trust Facebook. I haven't trusted Facebook in a long time. We've got a group on there, but it's only about like 450 people in it, which it's fine. But there's no traction on Facebook. Instagram, you've really got to be popular on there, and you got to have a niche on Instagram, I feel. Whereas, and I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. It's Twitter. It's just that's kind of where we've always been pretty big, and I feel like that's got the biggest reach, and it will continue to have the biggest reach until who decides to just finally bomb it. He's not going to continue to make little tweaks here and there. It's just really going to go up in flames. But there's really not another news site that's come up that's really taken the reins yet. Blue Sky is nice, but I have a little bit of pull there. It's not near as much.
It's hard. It's harder.
Yeah, I restarted my Instagram. It's okay, but Facebook, I'm really just there for. My wife likes to tag me when she posts pictures of the kids. That's
so a horror story. I hate Facebook, and I'm sorry for anybody that doesn't like that, but I started a page in 2007, like when I was in high school, and I've had that ever since, up until about a month ago. And a close friend of mine asked for my phone number, somebody I very much trust, and it wasn't them. They were hacked too. But that's all they needed was my phone number, and they have gone through thousands of my family members and friends begging them for money, and it's just like, people are awful, man, and I can't get back on it. I can't.
That's a mess.
Dude, it's an absolute mess. So many people are still like, "Hey, everything okay?" It's like, "Yes, I'm sorry." Like, if I could deactivate it, I would. So
yes, I don't need money. Please don't listen to them. Yeah.
Yes, it's so scary, because like, I just hope nobody bit that. It's just, people can suck anyway.
Yeah, for sure. that is one thing that we have realized over generations. There are some people that just suck.
They just suck. Absolutely. Caden says the FanFi cover reveal put me on the map. He can't thank you enough. That's wonderful.
Love you, Caden.
There it is. Jeff McIntyre says, from attending perspective, what percentage of your reviews are from indie authors?
Good question. I mean, I would say more than half.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we especially recently, I feel like over the past year or two, like we've got a lot of reviewers on there that are really pushing indie books. Not to say there aren't people that are doing traditionally published, but I think it's just gotten to a point where indie published books are as good, if not better, than traditionally published books. I mean, the quality is there. If you have a good editor and you get a few people reviewing it that love it, I mean, it's gonna happen for you. But I would probably say 60-40.
Okay.
If I had to guess. I mean, but we don't just do reviews. We do cover reveals, we do excerpts, we do author interviews. I mean, you were talking about Charlie earlier. I mean, he's been doing interviews with a bunch of Aussie authors. I think he's on like number 4 or 5 now, but he's got like a list of like 30 folks that he's doing interviews with.
Damn you, Matt. Sorry, I had to interrupt. Of course he would do this to me. I just got into the stream, but I just wanted to make sure you're okay, Matt. I saw you on Facebook. You needed money, so I sent you a cool $1,000. Hope all is well. Man,
love it.
I'm going to come through here. That's funny, dude. That is excellent. I love it. Perfectly timed, by the way. Thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate you.
Oh my gosh.
Go Read Books, another FanFiAddict reviewer in the house here. Matt, I know you as Matt because I'm your buddy now. So I can call you that, right? I hope so. Hail to the chief of FanFiAddict, he says. Yes, hail him.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't remember who started calling me boss man, but like that just will not go away now. So.
Well, I think that's great because it shows respect and the fact that you're a people person. I think it's wonderful. So what was your first piece of literature, whether it was fantasy or not, that kind of drew you in, that took your heart?
I mean, the nostalgic part of me is going to say Harry Potter. I know everybody's like, boo, J.K. Rowling. I mean, but like,
no,
look, that was my childhood. Like,
me too.
Harry Potter was like it. I mean, I lived the books. I got all the audiobooks. I listen to them at least once a year now. I mean, my wife's a big Harry Potter fan. I mean, our kids are going to listen to it. I mean, it's just one of those like things that just, it's so comforting, I guess.
Yes.
Really, like just Jim Dale's narration of it. It's almost like watching the movie, listening to it. Like it's just perfect. But as far as like adult books, holy cow. Beyond Redemption by Michael Fletcher.
Oh man.
A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, the book is so dark. It is so good though. Like it is dirty and gritty and nasty and but like it's so
I
good.
love that. So he comes on the channel in the next few days as well too. I can't wait to talk with him.
Yeah, Fletch is great people. I've always stand him, I guess you can say. And that was the book that got me into like grimdark fantasy and really into fantasy as a whole in my adult life, once I was in my mid-20s. And it's just been everything since then. So that's what led me on to reading Mark Lawrence. That's what got me on to reading Joe Abercrombie and then John Glenn. And the list goes on. It never ends. It never will until I'm dead and there's still a TBR.
Yes. When I die, my TBR will be inherited by my kids. So yeah, I think that's awesome because the first thing I knew about Mr. Fletcher was from Petrick.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know why I like this series because it's filthy, but I love it. And I said, I got to check that out.
It really is. Like everything is dirt and grime and mud and, pardon my French, piss and shit. I mean, that's really all it is. But he just does it so well. I don't know why, but like the characters, like they're just all horrible people and you just can't not like them. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, in the third book in that series that was just released not too long, I mean, it's so good. Like it's the best one of the series. So highly recommend that trilogy, which is now complete. So all those people that wait for trilogies to be completed, you can go read it now.
Nice. I think that's a wonderful plug because I think it takes a lot of hard work and dedication to say, I'm going to end. Now, I don't know. I've talked to him about it, but like, if he started out thinking that it was just going to be a trilogy, if he made that decision halfway through, what it was. So that's cool. And I can't wait to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
E.L. Montague says Harry Potter is and was a great collection of stories. I love it. Yes, it is. It's great. And for us, David, it's like we're the same age. We grew up at the same time. It's a nostalgia thing for me. And from what it sounds like to you, it's a major nostalgia thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Pokemon. Like that was my childhood. Like I took my Game Boy everywhere. And then when I got home, I read Harry Potter. My sister took me to all the movies when they came out. Like, it's just that's what I remember. So whenever I think back to my childhood, I'm like, yeah, I played soccer and I played video games and I read Harry Potter. Yeah.
Andrew says, yeah, sure. But what house?
Okay. So don't hate, but when I did is it Pottermore, right? Is that the website you do your house? I got Slytherin.
Oh, he's a Slytherin guy.
I want to be Gryffindor so bad. My wife's a Ravenclaw, but I got Slytherin, and I always hear flack about it.
Well, you could have lied to us. I like the honesty.
No, I'll keep with it. I still drink out of my green cup. So.
Nice. I love it, dude. I absolutely. And you know what? Who doesn't love a character that you love to root against, right?
Exactly. And towards the end of the series, he's not that bad. You know, he he's redeemed a little bit.
Now his dad, I don't know.
No, his dad can go rot, but
yeah, right.
his mom honestly could too.
So yes, I agree with you, Nick. Hagrid for life. Now, a little. Well, you can relate too. He's 6'10". He played professional basketball for New Zealand.
Yeah,
dude, just monster. So
absolutely,
we can relate with Hagrid, the three of us. He's a monster, and he's hairy. I mean,
I'm not that hairy.
That's okay.
This is about all I get.
It's all good. I can see you've got a wonderful thing going on right here. So that's
it needs to grow out a little bit more. I mean, I shaved recently before I went to the beach. So
how was that?
I went to the beach. I'm still as pale as possible, but
I remember you said you were going on vacation. That was good. Did you have a good time?
It was nice to get away.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up being like a lot colder than normal when we go to Florida in the fall. So there wasn't a whole lot of beach time, and our kids didn't sleep as good as they do at home. So it was, I'm not gonna say it was miserable, but it wasn't a lot of fun.
Gotcha. No, and with kids, it's always that possibility. Like even going to Walmart is like things can go sour pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. You know, it like starts out real well, and then like you go out to eat and like everything happens, you know, and it's just like, well,
the kids are crawling under the table. The waiter's like, "What's wrong with you? Haven't you ever like punished your kid because he doesn't act like it?"
Exactly. My kid's never done this, but they're going to do it today. So
yeah,
100%.
Just
be aware that, you know, one child is going to refuse to eat because ketchup touched something that didn't need to touch. And then your 6-month-old is going to cry the entire time you're there. So
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
You take the blows and you go, you know what? It's not just us because there's a kid 2 tables down that's also screaming. So
exactly. There he is. I knew he would hop in.
Hey,
here. Charlie. Hey, Boston Beardy, join the chat. It's early here. Not yet 7. Oh, okay. It's a little early there. That's all right. We're glad you're here, my friend.
Yeah, I know Luke Arnold and Ryan always got on to me because I'd make them wake up at the crack of dawn to do like TV Archon and stuff. So, but luckily, one of the times Luke was in California, so it wasn't too bad. Mm-hmm. But I always got Ryan up at like 5 a.m.
Talking about Ryan Cahill.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's in New Zealand, and you know, New Zealand and Australia are 2 countries. It's like, oh, let's try to plan this because there's like 3 hours in our day.
Yeah,
we're out of work, you know. Yeah. Unless you want to stay up late or you ask that person to stay up late, it's really hard to kind of coordinate, but it can work.
Yeah.
Is there a moment in the site's history you're most proud of?
Ooh. I hate to sound selfish.
No, say honest.
It's a little selfish. Honestly, it was when I saw FanFiAddict on the back of Shadow of the Gods by John Glenn.
Oh, I know. That must have been so cool.
That was like, all right. I literally contemplated being like done with with doing anything about the website. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm done. But that was amazing. And then I ended up on book 2. I'm hoping I'll end up on book 3. And if I do, like, I'm just over the friggin' moon. Like John Glenn, on top of being an amazing author, is like one of the best human beings I've ever had the opportunity to talk to. And
I'm jealous because he's probably my number 2 favorite author.
Behind?
Oh man, I don't know. Probably. Oh man, that's kind of hard.
Put you on the spot. I mean, you said number 2, so you got to have a number 1.
Yeah, I would say Ryan Cahill. I love his writing.
Oh, wow.
James Rollins or J.M. Miro. I like those 3. They're like all 3 of them are number 1 right now. Mark Lawrence. There's so many.
Now, do you mean James Rollins as far as like his I guess, what did you call it, like military sci-fi, or would you go with like his new fantasy stuff?
So I love his new fantasy stuff.
Okay.
The Moonfall Saga was 2 books. It was wonderful. But I also like when he did his first thing as James Clemens. He did, I believe it's the Broken and Banished and Broken, something like that. Okay. It's really good. It's a good adventure. It's not super dark. It's fun. It's like I said, it's a really fun adventure. But he did, James Clemens, that was his fantasy pen name. And then I believe he switched publishers, not 100% on that. Okay. But now, writes as James Rollins. And I love that stuff. It's like Da Vinci Code kind of techy, futuristic, but still realistic. Like some of the most advanced technology that maybe we don't know about are just kind of like in the testing periods.
Mhm.
He writes about, and it's really fascinating.
Yeah,
Fast paced.
his stuff feels like it's so much bigger than it like really is. Like the way he writes, he almost like writes from like a satellite view
Yeah,
in his books. I've read a couple of the later novels, I guess, in that original series that he was writing.
yeah, the Sigma series, the
Yeah, the
Sigma
Sigma series.
Force.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and I like that all of them are it's their standalones. Of course, there's little Easter eggs here and there that you can benefit from older ones
Yeah,
or previous installments, but yeah, you can really get in at any point. I think there's 17 with his last, which is
so many books.
yeah, there's so many I can't
I mean, I
remember.
say that there's some series that have gone like 30. So
Yeah. Well, and then you've got these web series that are becoming popular, web serials that are becoming like Wandering In, right?
yeah,
Uh, I think that's just a cool thing by itself. You've got this, I believe it's the longest written piece of work ever, right?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it is. Matt talks about it a lot on his site. In fact,
Okay.
he's the only person that's ever interviewed Pirate Abba, who is what's the anonymous name behind the author of The Wandering In.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Now, do you know if that started on Royal Road? Is that
I,
where that got its start?
I'm not exactly sure.
I
I'm
know
not
a lot of
exactly sure.
like those type of like lit RPG, game lit, that type of stuff. Like that's kind of where it got started. That's how like Athon kind of brought it, like Shirtaloon and everybody kind of in on their group. So I was just
Wow.
curious. I didn't know if that's where it started.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to look into it. And I've read some of it, and it's a fun adventure. It kind of goes back to Ryan possibly being my favorite author. It's like he just takes you, and you're excited where you're like you don't know where you're going, but wherever you're going is you're headed to something fun. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like a Wheel of Time with Lord of the Rings kind of feel, and that's just my comfort zone. I love taverns and inns. It's like one of my favorite tropes. I love it. It makes me just want to like. I wish I had a fireplace and like an old wooden table just to sit at to act like I'm in an old tavern.
Right,
Uh,
right.
so fun. So that's a cool moment. Being on the back of John Gwynn's book, The Shadow
Yeah,
of Gods.
yeah.
Wow. What's next for you and or the FanFiAddict website as a whole?
Good question.
Like
I don't,
upcoming events or something like that?
yeah. I don't know if there's like a what's like the next step or whatever. I mean, TBRCon's coming up.
That's
It's
what I
gonna be a little
wanted you to
different this
touch
year.
on.
Adrian and I, both took steps back. We both had kids this year, so we've got a big gaggle of folks that are kind of taking it over it. And so far, I mean, it sounds like the list of authors is going to be fantastic as usual. So that's coming up at the end of January. We'll do the FFA awards again, so the second annual FFA awards. Yeah, we'll do most anticipated of 2024. I'm working on that now. December is going to be chock full of all of our top of 2023 lists.
You answered a question I had for you, by the way, at the end of this, like when that was all going down, because I want to contribute. And yeah, that sounds so fun. I'm so happy that I know, like last year I wasn't doing this kind of stuff, and I was really out of touch with the modern feel of things, especially indie. I had no idea I would love indie so much, and just having a blast with it.
Nobody realizes it, and then they get in there like, well, why haven't I known about this forever?
Yeah, 100%. And there's such like niche authors and themes, and if something you thought that you wanted to read, you'll find it. Like if you want this theme, do a little research, you'll find it. I promise.
Yeah, and the one thing that has really steered me towards loving not only indie novels but indie authors. I started doing author interviews before COVID, like literally like 2 months before COVID started like ravaging the United States. And I did MaydayCon, which was kind of like the precursor to TBRCon. I did that. It was like 35 authors in one day.
Wow.
We had a bunch of panels, bunch of readings. I decided I was never going to do that again. That was a lot. It was an entire Saturday. It was way too much. But like just over the years, I've noticed that indie authors, not only are they so super easy to talk to, because generally they have a lot more time in their day, or at least they seem to have more time in their day to talk to you. They'll they're excited about you reading their books. They're excited when you love their books. They'll champion you while you champion them. Like,
I love it.
They're traditional. I'm not saying traditionally published authors don't do that. There's not a lot of them that do.
Yeah.
There are several that do, but I have better relationships with indie authors than I do traditionally published authors outside of, say, 15 to 20 folks.
I definitely understand. It's a personal thing.
They feel more like personable, I guess is the right word. I know where they're coming from. I know what they're trying to get to and gain, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's, I don't know, it's just, there's something about it that really pulled me in. And honestly, that's kind of where I started before I started writing for Book Nest. I was helping some indie authors out with like beta reading and proofreading and stuff. I was doing that. It's like I had read Wool, and then Amazon's like, if you like that, read this.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what got me into doing that. So really, my whole entire experience started with indie authors. I just really didn't realize how big it was going to get.
Yes.
It was still fairly small back in 2015. And then of course it's blowing up now, and everybody's doing Kickstarters and
which, man, I'm super excited for a lot of them. But Rob Hayes is, I'm really looking forward to the guy.
I've lost so much money this year on Kickstarter.
I see how many you follow and you fund, man. It's really cool. You're doing all you can to support the community, and it shows. Yeah. So LL McCrae says we're procrastinating writing by chatting to everyone in the community.
Sounds about right.
It sounds, and it's a personable experience, like you said. That's one of the, like, what I had this preconceived notion that if I was going to reach out to an author, which pretty much drove my love for doing these interviews. And if you guys watch the channel, like I do a lot of interviews is because I truly just love it. I like to hear about people and how we're different and the same and all that fun stuff, and celebrate it all.
Yeah. That's why I started the FanFiAddict YouTube channel. I mean, that's what I was doing. I was doing, interview, until it just got to the point where I just couldn't make the time for it. But it's just fun, like learning where people came from, how they got started, and kind of like why they write, basically. And it's fascinating, and every story is different. You never hear the same story twice.
Yeah. Culture. It's my favorite aspect to all this culture. Pardon the baby, we got a newborn. Deal with it.
You're good. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never had
it. Oh, well, I know. I know you do. I just the chatters, and I know they all know too, so it don't matter. I actually enjoy it because I know that my wife is the reason I'm sitting here. She is babysitting, guys. So round of applause for Mama. What is, or who is rather, a interview or an author you'd like to see me interview in the future?
So you said Fletcher. You want to get Rockio on. You mentioned Bancroft. I haven't seen Nicholas Eames do an interview in a while.
Ooh,
that'd be a good one. His third book's coming out at some point. I decided to stop badgering because I know everybody badgers him like they badger Rothfuss, Martin, and everybody. So I would say Eames or Evan Winter.
Ooh, yes. I can't figure out how
he's amazing. If you want another person that like will make you feel really stupid because he's super smart, Evan Winter and Richard Swan are like on the same level.
Wow. Okay. Well, see, I've actually reached out to Evan. I don't really like sometimes, and it's kind of hard to get a hold of people sometimes. I'm sure they're flooded with if I'm talking to them or trying to talk to them on the social media that they actually are active on, or if they have an agent or PR. So you kind of just have to test them all.
I can help you out with it. I mean, he's probably you trying to get his deadline done. I mean, I know everybody's been waiting for book 3 for a couple of years. So I think that's probably, he's like social media, like I'll get on every now and then, retweet something, but like he's probably like head down in a book, if I had to guess.
Yeah. He seems like a nice guy.
Oh yeah. And then indies, have you interviewed Rob Hayes yet?
He's on the calendar. Yeah. Okay. December something.
Looking at my indie friends.
Yeah.
Gosh, some of my books aren't even up. I feel so bad. You said you got Joe Byrne. Zach Argyle. Have you interviewed Zach?
That was 2 interviews ago. Yep.
Gum.
I've got a hold of a lot of people I never thought
know,
I would have.
you're just popping.
So actually, I'm excited. I got when you said Rockio, I was so happy, and I like to keep my Discord for my future interviews.
Mhm.
But I totally got an email from them this morning agreeing to do an interview with me in December. So I'm excited about
Awesome.
Rockio. And then I'll try to get a hold of Nicholas Eames and Evan Winter, and maybe that'll happen one day. So
Yeah,
thank you for
Adrian's really good friends with Nick. They actually used to work together.
Oh, wow.
Back in Canada. So,
Canada. Oi.
Yeah, that's what they're both. I think from Vancouver. So they know each other really well.
I heard the best Canadian name the other day. I believe it was one of the comedians I watch. Gordy Horton.
Gordy Horton.
Gordy Horton. I'm so sorry for any Canadians. That's an awful rendition of a Canadian accent.
Look, I watch way too much Shoresy and Letterkenny, so like
I die. Letterkenny is. I haven't watched a lot of it, but when I do, it's just like I have to like walk.
If you haven't watched Shoresy, you gotta watch Shoresy. The new season hits Hulu, I think, in like 2 days. So, dude, it's so great.
I got Shoresy. Oh my gosh, just the name is killing me. I haven't heard of it, so I have to check that out.
You do, yeah. It's based on the character from Letterkenny, the hockey player.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I like the guy in the tight jeans. I can't remember the name, but he's always like standing like this, like against something. He's got red hair, I think. Jeans entirely too tight, but he's hilarious. He's like serious but funny at the same time.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, the names.
Yeah, he's one of the funniest dudes, and he just kills me. I have to look his name up, but I want to watch some more of that because I don't know. Canadian humor is just, I think, gold.
I mean, it started with Trailer Park Boys, and like Letterkenny is kind of blown up on Hulu. I don't even know how many seasons it's got now. It's nuts, but
that's cool.
Yeah, I highly suggest Shoresy. I mean, I'm a big hockey fan too. So
yeah. Oh, I love it. Me too. Who's your team?
Butter, so
who's your team? Me too. I'm a huge hockey fan.
Unfortunately, right now it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. They just want to keep getting older, and it's not working out right now. I mean, Dubas came in. He's like, let's get Erik Karlsson, and it looked great for 2 games, and it's not looked great for 3 games.
if you want to talk, okay, there's rugby and hockey, the two most. If you want to call yourself a man, those are the 2 sports in which you have to play. I'm not a man, and by those stipulations yet. I hope to one day do a body check on the ice.
Right.
And then I can call myself, lose a couple teeth. Now, see, I'm from the 90s. My mom and dad grew up in Michigan. So I'm a huge Red Wings fan. We live close to Columbus. So when they come and play
the Blue Jackets,
we usually go see them. It's really fun. But not a lot of hockey fans where I live. I get to talk to
like none down here. Every now and then I'll see like randomly I'll see Penguins like t-shirts and stuff, and I go, hey,
yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, but I have to go to Nashville, because the Predators. So like I have to go to Nashville to see hockey stuff. So
Nick said add MMA to that list. That's probably the superior man test there. You're probably never going to catch me.
And I'll agree with Michael. The Blackhawks, like Connor Bedard, the dude's legit. He is legit.
And Chicago's cold.
To see what he does in the next few years.
And from what I understand, I wish the lakes around here would freeze enough where I could just throw. Well, I don't know if they make skates the size of my stinking feet, but I would absolutely love to do skating, like just to get out and play some hockey. Well, I guess I'd have to learn to skate first, but it would be fun.
I don't know how to skate, so I'm right there with you.
Gotcha. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it's like 6'5" is not something that you just stand right back up from. It hurts a little bit. Am I right, David?
Yeah. It's a long fall and it's a long way back up.
It is. But I digress. Man, thank you so much for being on the channel. Was there anything else you wanted to highlight before we hop off of here?
Man, not a whole lot. Just thanks for having me. Thanks for joining FanFiAddict. I mean, I know you're one of our newest folks to join the family. And look, we're always open to, like I said, cover reveals, excerpts, interviews, listicles, whatever you guys want. If you guys need help promoting a book, anything, just feel free to reach out to us. Talk to Matt if you're on here and you want him to throw something my way, or always feel free to DM me on Twitter. I'm I'm at Lord TBR FFA.
Yeah,
you to find me.
he's in the description already. I got
Yeah,
it.
there you go. So yeah, I mean, other than that, man, just thanks so much for having me, and looking forward to checking out some of your future interviews.
Oh, thank you so much. I've really looked forward to this. I knew I would have a wonderful time. So yes, thank you so much. And honestly, until next time, guys, Beard of Darkness book review, subscribe, share, and all that fun stuff. And tonight at 10 Eastern, I'm having Thiago Abdallah on. We'll talk about some fun stuff with him. So join us tonight, or if you can't, that's okay too. We're still buddies. But until next time, guys, thanks for watching. And David, thanks again.
Absolutely. Thanks everybody that was watching.
Yes, thank you.